What's up, Bulls fans? I have an interesting prospect and an interesting scenario for you guys today. I'm going to talk about Darius Acuff, his strengths, weaknesses, comparisons, and some scenarios that could land him on the Bulls. Because I've heard a couple fans and a lot of people wanting him on the Bulls. So I think he'd be a fun prospect to talk about today. But before we get too deep into talking about Darius Acuff, I want to know, how would you feel about Darius Acuff becoming a Bull? Comment amazing or terrible down below. Now, Darius Acuff, as most people know, 19-year-old freshman guard out of Arkansas, 6'3", 6'6" wingspan, is gonna most likely play point guard at the NBA. I don't think he's big enough to be a shooting guard, but who knows? But I personally see him as a point guard in this draft. And him and Peterson, man, they are looking to be those generational scorers. Like they look like two of those guards that are gonna define scoring in this generation. Like when we look back down the road and think back to this generation, I think Acuff is going to be one of those scorers that we think about. And he's just really interesting. I think he can be the next great Calipari guard. As we all know, everyone always talks about the Calipari guards, all the Kentucky boys, Derrick Rose, uh, even Tyreek Evans. I see him as one, even though the Kings kind of messed that up. But gotta love those Kings teams. But I think he can be the next guard in that lineage of great Calipari guards. This season, as a freshman, he averaged 23 and a half points on 48% shooting, 44% from three, 6.4 assists, 3.1 rebounds, zero point 0.3 blocks, and 0.8 steals. And those 35.1 minutes and 6.4 assists led the SEC, which I think is really incredible to lead the SEC in really anything as a freshman, especially something like assists. Now, when talking about his strengths, the main one that everyone knows is his scoring. He's able to score on all three levels. As I said, he's shot 44% from three this year. He's great in the mid range. He's got a decent floater game. He's pretty crafty at the cup. He's obviously a really good passer. It takes a great passing talent to lead a conference like the SEC in assists per game. And I think that's something that a lot of people aren't talking about with his offense is the fact that everyone knows how good of a scorer he is and how on ball of a player he is. But despite being such a score first guy and such a ball dominant guard, he is not scared to make really any pass, but specifically his lob passes. That was something that I never realized that I really learned from watching his tape. I never realized how great of a lob passer he was. Like, he's so good at drawing the defense towards him and then just throwing it up in the air perfectly into the cutter's hands for a lob. It was honestly incredible. Another strength, like I said, the playmaking and passing kind of go hand in hand, but the efficiency was really good. Like, you don't see a ton of guards, especially freshman guards in a power conference, scoring as efficiently as he did with the amount of attempts he got. Like, shooting 48 and 44% is honestly incredible for a freshman. I haven't seen too many freshmen be able to score with that type of efficiency on the volume that he was scoring. And again, he just looks like one of the best offensive guard prospects we've seen in such a long time. And it doesn't feel so much like a Jimmer scoring guard where it's like, yeah, he's tearing it up in college, but can it really translate to the NBA? And with Jimmer's size, he was definitely a shooting guard, that point guard. But with Acuff, he's 6'3". And I mean, that's not the tallest point guard, but it's not the shortest. I think 6'3", 6'4" is the league average. So it's not like he's undersized. He's got a 6'6" wingspan. So not the longest wingspan of all time, but he has a positive wingspan, which is going to be huge for him. And just being able to score that efficiently in a conference like the SEC that is so loaded with NBA talent, I think proves that he will be able to easily translate this scoring to the NBA. And the last strength I had was fouls. He wasn't really averaging that many fouls. And honestly, I don't know what more you can ask from a guard than not fouling. But as I always say, guys, with strengths come weaknesses. I think everyone knows Darius Acuff's weakness. It's defense. I mean, four of the five I have listed are defense. And I mean, you can't understate it enough. His defensive rating wasn't the best. He didn't even average a full steal a game. I don't remember how many games, but there was a long stretch this season where he went multiple games without even getting a steal, which, I mean, I'm not saying you have to be like Kawhi and average 2.5 steals, or even like a TJ McConnell is averaging like 2 steals a game. I'm not saying you have to be that, but being a point guard and not even being able to average a full steal per game is a glaring weakness, and honestly is kind of concerning because you don't even have to be poking the ball out. Even just being able to step into the passing lane at the right time and tip the ball away from its intended target, you should be able to do that at least once per game as a point guard. His rebounding, both defensive and offensive, it leaves some room to be desired. I mean, 3.6 isn't the worst when it comes to rebounds per game as a point guard. But, I mean, with this new age NBA where really every player can flirt with the triple-double, especially point guards, when you have point guards averaging so many rebounds and so many point guards getting triple-doubles in games, it's just kind of concerning averaging under 4. Like, if I'm a coach, I want my point guard, regardless of height, to be able to grab at least 4 a game, 4 to 5 a game. I mean, look at Yuki. Size doesn't matter with rebounding. It's all positioning. It's all hustle. Yuki was averaging a ton of rebounds a game. He had a couple games with like 6 rebounds a game. I think he even had a game where he had 10. And he's 5'7". So seeing someone like Yuki be able to grab 4 to 5 rebounds a game, there's no excuse for a point guard to not be able to average 4 to 5 rebounds a game. And the last one, another defensive one, box plus minus. I mean, it just wasn't good. He definitely has a lot left on the table when it comes to defense. He definitely is going to have to start working on defense more and work on his hustle, work on his defensive IQ, his defensive effort, his hustle, if he wants to be a superstar. But I mean, offensively, he's probably going to be a superstar, but to be a true superstar that I'm sure he wants to be, he does have to pick it up on defense. Now, I want to know, are you excited for this rebuild? I'm excited for this rebuild. I'm super excited. All this GM searching, coach searching, prospect scouting. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are having a lot of fun with it. If you are, hit that like and hype button down below. Now, for a comparison, I've been seeing a lot of Damian Lillard and Allen Iverson, and I like it. The only thing I'd say is when it comes to Allen Iverson, just less steals. Allen Iverson, I wouldn't go out and say he was this incredible defender by any means, but even with not being the greatest defender out there, he still knew how to clog passing lanes. He was averaging like 3 steals a game for multiple seasons. He was averaging high twos for steals for most of his career. He knew how to get in passing lanes. And that's where I say I don't need Acuff poking the ball out and getting steals. Even if you're just tipping a pass here and there, you should be able to do that and average a steal a game as a guard. And the Damian Lillard, I see it. I see it a lot. I even see the Iverson without the steals. Just that hyper offensive guard that's going to give you 30 a night, probably give you 25 on a bad night, on a terrible night, still be able to give you 20. But that guard where you know if he's on the floor, he's getting you buckets. And it doesn't matter how he's getting them, he's getting them to you. And honestly, especially with the Lillard comparison, I like the Lillard comparison a lot because of how much of a 3-level scorer Lillard was. I see a lot of that in Acuff. They were both 6'3", so same size, same measurables. Very efficient 3-ball. I think Lillard is around 40% for his career. Acuff hit 44. It's going to come. I think he's going to be able to translate the farther 3-ball well in the NBA, because the NBA is a couple feet farther than college. We all know that. But I think he will be able to do that easily. But same with Iverson, just very crafty at the rim, pretty good mid-range. I think he's a lot more efficient than Iverson was. Iverson was always in the low 40s for field goal and mid 30s, I think, mid to low 30s for 3-point. So I definitely think he has the potential to be more efficient than Iverson. But with the Iverson comparison, I see a lot of it in just the craftiness of his scoring, him being able to break down his defender with size ups, crossovers, and outs, whatever move is on his mind, he can break a defender down with it. Iverson was the same way. I mean, we all know how lethal his crossover was, but I kind of see a little bit of both. The efficiency and 3-level scoring of Lillard, the craftiness and the handle of Iverson. I think he's going to be one of those guys. And I think whatever team gets him is going to be very, very lucky. Now, before I give my thoughts, my personal thoughts on Acuff and Acuff to the Bulls, I want to say, please subscribe, please share. We are trying to grow as much as we can. We're trying to hit 1,900 subscribers. We're roughly 70 away. We're in the 1830s, so every subscriber counts, every share counts. We love having all of you here. Jordan and I love covering the Bulls for you guys. We're having so much fun with this rebuild. We're coming up with a lot of GM videos in the coming days, a lot of coaching videos, more scouting videos, and we don't want you to miss any of it. So please make sure you are subscribed, turn on notifications, make sure you don't miss anything. Now, my thoughts with Acuff, if we're talking 4th pick, no, not at all. Because I think Caleb Wilson will fall to us at 4. I think Caleb is the no-brainer at 4, but I have heard a lot of talk of Boozer being loved at 2. everyone's saying there's a chance Wilson could move up. And if both of them move up and Peterson falls to us, I'd rather have Peterson. But, I mean, if we go Acuff, in that scenario, if we go Acuff, I'm not going to be upset. It won't be my first choice, but I'm not going to be upset. I do love Acuff. I am a big Acuff supporter. I am a big Acuff fan. He's one of my favorite prospects. But it really comes down to I'd rather have a big. So if either of the bigs in the big four prospects fall to us at 4, I'd rather take them. If Peterson slides to 4, I'd want to go Peterson because that would be a steal for someone who was mocked at 1 and 2 all year. Having him slide to 4 would be great value. But if Wilson and Boozer are off the board, it comes down to Peterson and Acuff. If we go Acuff, I'm not going to be upset. The other scenario where I think this isn't the most outlandish thing is those Giddey rumors. If those Giddey rumors have as much weight as the insiders are saying, and we move on from him, then I wouldn't be too upset taking Acuff, because then we will need a guard. We will need a young guard to pair with Modest and put on Modest's timeline. Because my whole thing is everyone we draft needs to be on Modest's timeline. This is Modest's team, in my opinion. So mold it around him, mold the timeline around him, mold the play style around him. And if we move Giddey, I'm not going to be mad if we make Acuff jump. But if we're talking Wilson's on the board, Boozer's on the board at 4, I don't want to draft Acuff. I'd rather draft the big. But that's just me. If you guys feel differently, please make sure to let me know down below. And thank you for joining me today. Make sure to like, subscribe, notifications are on. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're putting out a lot of great content, like I said. Jordan and I have a lot of great ideas in the chamber, and we want to make sure you don't miss any of it. With that being said, I hope you all have a great day, and as always, see Red Bulls Nation.